strings.
Go. Yeah. Direct it, make it, make it, make it. Go. Yeah. As I was told.
Welcome to Connected. I'm your host, DJ Iz. I got my lovely co-host, Miss Cloie.
Hi, guys.
Chloe, you got to show them your boots because I love these boots. Show them real quick.
These?
Yes.
They are made for walking. It's what you call a cowboy boot. In this case, it would be a cowgirl boot.
Yes. So thank you all for tuning in today. Of course, today is Monday Movement. We got some great things for you throughout the show. However, I do want to talk to you about your week because I know you've been shooting. Can we kind of talk about that, Chloe?
Absolutely. There's only but so much I can say because we signed an NDA.
Oh, it's a secret. All right, secret.
But it is a project called External Living, and we've been shooting in and around downtown LA.
Dope.
And it's being produced and directed by these documentarian filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do documentaries, and that's what they have done. And so now they have launched into this project that is set in LA in the not too distant future.
Mm-hmm.
And it is also involving in a commentary on the homeless crisis.
Oh, wow.
All of that sort of stuff. So yeah.
That's dope. You see, Chloe stays busy. That's what I love about Chloe. So I always try to make it a point when we get here in front of this camera every Monday that, you know, I get to kind of investigate your week. You know, 'cause I want to know what's cracking on that end.
And you can only get to Instagram so quickly.
Right.
Because sometimes the thumbs like, wait, what? It's
The
distracting.
Twitter fingers aren't. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
how are you?
I'm good. I'm just happy to be here. You know, every Monday, making sure we come together for these folks and our viewers and plug them in any way we can.
Mm-hmm.
We got a great show lined up for them, so I want to let you guys know to get your questions ready.
Get them ready right now.
The chat button.
Chat button, upper right hand side of your screen. Make sure you're watching it through our official, the live stream and the power and all that sort of stuff. But it's in the upper right hand corner, so get that in for Q&A.
Shout out to our faithfuls. I know you guys are tuning in, and shout out to our newcomers.
Welcome.
For our newcomers, Connected is all about jobs, information. We've had guests on our show, which we then allow our viewers to extract as much information as they can. And shout out to Kevin Ross, DJ Malski, the Baker Boys, all the folks that have joined us on our show. We had the Audibles. We had a great time last week.
We sure did.
With Kevin Ross at
the
Roland.
House of Roland. Shout out to Roland.
Chris, Igor, Mark, everyone who from on that side who's a part of the family who helps us make it happen. What else, Chloe? What else we got?
What's happening? We'll be back at Roland sometime.
We'll be back. Yeah, actually, we'll be back at Roland next week, which we will have another guest for you guys. Can't tell you yet. It's in the wraps.
We should also say, if it is your first time joining us, like Iz said, welcome. But let us know. Just pop a 1 into the chat box and let us know where you're watching from so that we can welcome you official. Sometimes we have people watching from abroad.
From abroad, yes. We've had people watching from across the water.
Oh, yeah. Perth. There was somebody watching. Perth is in Australia.
We've had Canada.
We've definitely had Canada.
So, yeah, we're growing. We're growing as fast as we can.
And passports need not apply.
Yes. And, at one point, we were at 5 jobs. At one point, we were at 5 jobs.
But woof, something
We've been
happened.
at 10 jobs for the last couple of months, I want to say. So, let's jump right into it.
I love it.
Before we get into our grind ops, which are our jobs, we'd like to tell you what to have in place so you can take down this detailed information.
So make sure that you've got your pencils, your pens, your texting thumbs, whatever you need, smoke signal, however you like to communicate. Get that ready, as well as your great Monday movement attitude, because we are giving them to you hard and fast and lightweight.
Hard and fast, and attitude is everything. So we're going to jump right into it. First grind up of the day is in the field of audio engineer, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta Stadium seeks audio engineer that can bring energy to the field, manage audio control room and technical infrastructure at the stadium, mix multiple audio sources, host guest microphones, PA, reference mics, music, and sound effects. Oversee game day audio operations for Atlanta Falcons, football and Atlanta Unified FC, MLS soccer teams. Now that's a fun gig right there.
Hello?
Especially if you're a sports fan.
It's like football and football Americano. Hello.
Yeah. So I would say definitely if you're in the Atlanta area,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're out there often and this happens to be one of your fields or careers, you should definitely apply for this gig. But I
And
would
if you're
say,
a fan too.
yeah, if you're a fan, I think, and actually too, I think that's what makes this a little exciting because they want you to bring energy
Mm-hmm.
to the environment. So I think I'm a sports fan, and I know how I am in a sports environment. I'm ultra excited.
Do you play fantasy leagues?
You know, I'm not this year, but I have before. Yeah, it gets intense.
I need to do that.
Yeah, you
How
would
did the
love
Falcons
it.
do last year?
They didn't make it.
Oh, well, there's always this year.
There's always this year. But yeah, so, you know, another thing too, we want to encourage you guys to send us your resumes, your cover letters, so we can actually look at that with you guys and help you out. So when you actually present it to an opportunity like this, that you got all your ducks in a row and everything is polished and refined and all that good stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Right. So with that being said, we're going to move on to our newsletter.
Yeah, let's talk about our newsletter. because-
Student success.
Boom. So guys, you know how we are always talking about going after your passion because that's what we're about, and that's the way to follow your bliss. Sorry to get all Campbell on
No,
you
you
so
said
early.
that's
But today's
That's
it's follow it. And today's student success story is definitely a case in point. Today we are featuring Brooke Tedessa. And now Brooke, the great thing about Brooke is he had a degree in business and was working as a programmer in the banking industry in Philly. And he and his wife are all set to buy a house, and it's like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. But it's like, you know, that thing that happens when you're like, except I'm not following, something's there that I've always wanted to do.
Right.
And I'm just going to go after it. Well, that's what he did. And his wonderful wife was not only supportive, but she was the one that found out about Recording Connection and got all that lined up. And it's led them to Portland, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And Brooke is training under indie filmmaker. In my mind, I was going to say it in a totally different way. Indie filmmaker Aaron Gale. So,
Dope.
Shout out to Brooke and his supportive family. And to find out more about him, check out this week's newsletter for this student success story on Brooke Tedessa. So,
Yeah, man. Shout out to Brooke. And we like to always put those kind of stories under the Connected spotlight. Because, you know, I think for us, too, what we do, Cloie, here, you know, every week, when you get these kind of stories that come in with folks like Brooke who are on the field doing it and actually, you know, rolling the dice, you know, going for it, you know, and that's always a great thing. And I think it's always reassurance to our viewers that it's okay to bet on yourself. It's okay to take that risk as long as you know you're going to get out there and grind, hit the pavement, make it happen, network, meet folks, you know, do all the ancillary things that it takes to, you know, hope. Again, shout out to Brooke, man. Happy to have you under the Connected Spotlight. And with that being said, we got another spotlight. Go ahead and introduce some folks.
Love it. So we would love to welcome via the interwebs our lovely and accomplished guest. This is Jeramy Roberts, who is not only a composer and a DJ, he is also the founder of the Electronic Musicians Guild, or EMG, and he is coming to us via satellite from Austin. Hello, Jeramy.
What up, Jeremy?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
There he is, my man.
Nice one.
Thumbs up, man. I like your setup, man. It looks like you're flying a spaceship.
Oh, the command center.
Yeah.
So now, Jeramy, we do know that you are one of our celebrated Recording Connection mentors, and you've done all of these things, but you've done not. There's no but. You've just done a lot, and one of your focuses is how students can monetize what they do in the current climate.
Yeah, that's correct. We try to focus on not only producing electronic dance music or hip hop, but also how to monetize your tracks in an effective, proficient way, and legally.
Legal is good.
You know, too, Jerry, with you leaving on that note, you know, I think it's important for, you know, folks to kind of just hear a breakdown on how the publishing aspect works, how it works as far as radio playing your music and, you know, you having an affiliate such like a BMI, a CSAC, or ASCAP. Can you kind of just break that down for our viewers on how that works and when is a good time to have that stuff in place?
Sure. So we can just start with the thing I hear most often. I hear it a couple times a week, and that is, I just want to hear my stuff on the radio. And your first stop should always be BMI. The radio stations can't touch you unless your works are published with BMI. So really what you want to do is you want to go over there and open up a creator profile, get your BMI number, it's free. And then you can also take the second step and sign up with BMI as a publisher. It costs about $150. But once you do that and you start registering your works, all of a sudden you can solicit radio stations and certain labels because it's all about, really at the end of the day, it's all about money. They want to know who they're going to pay, and if you're not registered with BMI, they can't even speak to you legally. And I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to presume to tell anybody how to structure their business, corporation versus DBA and all of those things. But generally what I tell students is to open a music group. Like me and my publishing partners have Northwest Music Group, and then you can umbrella. You can create different labels under that. It's transferable if you're looking to go to the majors. They're not going to have too many issues with that. So that would really be my advice. Your first stop is BMI.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what you do on the mentoring side and how that works on your end.
Well, I mean, really with the apprentices, I try to evaluate where it is that they want to go.
That's so awesome, Jeremy. We're going to put a quick pin in it, and I think we're going to go to our next grind up, which is grind up number 2.
Grind up number 2 is in the field of
hitting it.
Bam! Videographer, editor, Moore Park, California. PR marketing firm is adding a videographer, editor to its team. Set up and film with a Canon DSLR. Plan narratives to be utilized during production, storyboard videos, edit with Adobe Creative Suite applications.
Love it.
Now, Chloe, break it down, honey, because I know this is your role.
Ooh, baby. I mean, so here's the thing. Like, that whole, if it's a PR and a marketing firm, so basically you're dealing with the money and how to find the demographics that are going to buy the products and how to deal with the people that have the money.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that is a specific kind of person that you're working with in any capacity. This is a job that you definitely need to have some experience going in. Just on the editing side alone, because it's what we talk about, dynamic, fast, quick edits, all of that sort of stuff, and being able to tell a story that is transferable, that is translatable, and that is easy to metabolize for the attention span of today. Because you figure millennials and whatever, if Instagram videos are like 15 seconds to a minute, that's what you have to edit. And
that's a good point. That is a good point.
You're editing dynamic content that can be absorbed in a minute or less.
Right.
And I think that is what big companies are looking towards, and that's what the trend is going towards. Right. So when you are trying to tell a story in that amount of time, it's no joke.
Right.
And yes, you're working with people that help you do that. But the money is just like, yeah, I'm just worried about my bottom line. They're not necessarily the creatives. They're what you call bean counters.
Right,
bean counters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're working as a liaison between that world, the creatives, and then like pulling all and then the people that you're trying to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So pulling all of those worlds together in a minute or less.
Dope.
So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, before we go on to this next grind up, I think we're back with Jeramy.
Love it. Jeramy, can you hear us now?
I can hear you guys. Am I good?
Yeah, my man, you're
Perfect.
good.
Sound check, sound check. Thanks, guys.
So yeah, man, let's talk a little bit of the creative aspect for you. Kind of give us some insight on just your creative process. I mean, what that looks like for you, and how often are you in a creative space?
It gets easier over time. When I first started 20 years ago, the creative process was pretty difficult. But with the more knowledge you get, the easier it does get. I can take things that are in my mind and actually turn them into music. And that just comes from studying, knowing your gear, knowing your DAW. And so I kind of just find motivation where I can. When I get excited about something, I make sure to sit down and work on it immediately, because that's one of those things that just comes and goes as far as creativity.
Yeah, and it's cool to hear you break it down like that, because I've even have said that same thing in interviews where people ask me about my creative process, and I think I say the same thing over the years of creating. I've literally gotten to a place where I can hear something in my head and then immediately start creating and working on it, and then come up with this music, and it sounds just like what I heard in my head. And I always equate that to kind of just like pulling from the universe.
Yes.
But you're only kind of really able to do that when you have an enormous amount of music in you.
Right.
Your library, what you can reference, the stuff you have in your mind, and that allows you to kind of, like he said, utilize and tug on that gear to do that, which is still kind of what makes it still fun for me. But I know for me, I still, if I hear something that excites me, or if I hear something that kind of just like, man, I gotta get on my stuff. So that's kind of where I'm able to pull inspiration from as well.
Ooh, that sounds so good. I just got little chills.
You
and
got chilly chills?
I got a little goosebumps. So now, Jeramy, can you talk a little bit more about what you look for in an apprentice sort of situation, and the successes that you have had, and if you have ever apprenticed, or if you've had apprentices in the past?
Sure. So really, when I meet new apprentices, it's all about motivation, and not just motivation for the initial meet, but a motivation that's going to last, because people quickly find out that it's really hard work. You can talk about goals and dreams, and all that's great, but at the end of the day, any kind of success takes a lot of grinding. So I really look for kids that are going to have the stamina to make it through that. Like one of my first apprentices, Granger Weston, he just opened a company called Quilt, and he took all of the publishing knowledge that I taught him, and he's gone into the consultation business, and he basically sorts out messes. There are a lot of people out there, a lot of artists spending a lot of money, and they kind of don't take the right steps. So he's going in now and he's saying, hey, look, we need to backtrack a bit, reorganize, and then this is your format, or your algorithm, if you will. So that's kind of just breaking through all of the hard work is key.
That's great. It's like he's a mathematical Ray Donovan or something. Talk about algorithms and all sorts of. Anyway, I just nerded out a little bit.
That's cool. It's cool. So, Jeremy, we're going to introduce another grind up. But man, feel free to sit on through with us and chime in if you have any thoughts or anything you see on some of these grind ups. All right. Moving on to the next grind up. This is in the field of production assistant.
In Fargo, North Dakota.
Mhm.
North Dakota, yeah.
TV news station in Fargo seeks outgoing production assistant. Daily setup for evening newscasts. Operate teleprompter. Assist audio department with any sound needs. Provide general assistance to other crew members during evening newscasts as needed.
Bam.
Now, Chloe, we've had a lot of PA gigs come through.
And a lot in this particular field, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's interesting, like, because that just kind of, to me, communicates another trend or like what people are looking for, how
Right.
things are changing, and.
So, would you say there's a serious like PA need out there?
Oh yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna say yeah,
Yeah.
which to me is great. It's because it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity
Right.
out there. They were looking for people that are hungry, go-getters, and that just. I don't know about upward mobility in all of them.
Right.
But I imagine like getting people in there, giving the opportunity to grow and to acquire the knowledge needed so that they can move up the ranks.
Got you.
Move to other positions
Mhm.
or discover it's not what they want at all.
Right.
You know, we were talking about prompter last week too,
Yeah, exactly.
and how that can go horribly
wrong.
awry
Right.
if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because we've had a lot of PA, jobs come up,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure if we've had any folks who have actually applied for those PA jobs, but they seem to consistently pop up on our show.
Oh, they totally do, because there's always work, and especially, in this industry, everybody needs a hand, and
Right.
that's a PA.
Right.
It's like a third hand that you don't have.
Yeah.
Or maybe you do, so it could be a fourth hand.
Fifth.
We don't judge.
Thanks.
Perhaps.
With that being said, we have a third hand, and we'd like to remind our viewers about our Facebook app, which is our connected third hand,
Yeah.
which helps creators connect in all sorts of ways,
Mhm.
right? So we kind of like have been talking about this. We've been making it a point actually to talk about this every week because I feel it's extremely beneficial for our viewers to take advantage of this platform.
Bridge that gap.
Yeah, to bridge that gap, and this all happens through Facebook's Messenger. All you got to do is type in "IZConnected" and you have access. And it's a great. It's. I play around with it all the time because it actually talks back to you.
And you love something to talk back, but I'm bummed. We're here all day, folks, or at least until 12.
But it's great for those, to kind of like flush it out, post their work, find other creators within, whether it's 5 miles, 10 miles, So I think it makes it easy,
Yeah.
'cause
Oh yeah.
the millennials, for those millennials who are viewing, I mean, it's. I don't see how we can make it any easier for you to connect with others who are aspiring, kind of in the same field you are, whether it's music, film, radio, culinary, engineering, and recording. So I would suggest that you guys really start taking advantage of what we're providing on the social media platform, which is our connected app. And also, too, we need to get these folks to start following us on our...
Have you followed us today?
That's a good one. That should be like a hashtag for Connected.
Look, Connected. Have you followed us today? We are everywhere at IZConnected, all across social media. We are getting things done in this world, left, right, and center. We're not messing around.
We're not messing
are
around.
you?
We don't have time to mess
Nobody's
around.
got time to mess around. So make sure you've connected with us. As a matter of fact, we'll wait. We'll give you 10 seconds right now. I can wait.
Yeah,
10
you
seconds.
can wait. I'll
Ready,
tell you what,
set.
I'm going to introduce this fifth grind up of the
Great.
day while you time them. So here we go, folks.
Next grind
Fifth
up.
grind up of the day is in the field of
What's going with it right now? What time is it?
sound engineer, Irvine, California. Video game developer seeks sound engineer. I might apply for this job. This one sounds fun. Work closely with
Maybe.
lead sound supervisor on pre-recorded live broadcast projects. Engineer voiceover sessions. Edit dialogue and sound effects in Pro Tools. Operate digital mixing console as needed. Now, for a gamer, this could be really cool.
Gaming is like the wave of the now.
It is, yeah. Gaming is actually killing a lot of
Yep.
folks. It's beating out everybody.
And it's killing a lot of business too.
Folks are at home just gaming it out like, yeah, one more peanut butter sandwich, Mom.
No, but like even in the film industry, how it's changed and is, for gigs, like now it's like a steady gig that you go out for is the mocap,
Right.
you know. And for those of you that don't, like, motion capture is like when they put the sensors on you and they're tracking your movement and they're translating that into the digital.
Mm-hmm.
I just look like I vogued.
You vogue.
I don't know. So yeah, what do you think
Cloie.
about this though? Like, when you say like you would have, what would make you want to go for this job?
It just sounds like a fun environment.
Yeah.
You know, I think from my background being in music and being in the studio and just music. I mean, to now like be doing it on some video games. It's like just, you know, it sounds fun. I'm a gamer. But I'm more of a classic gamer.
Like Super Mario Brothers.
Like Super Mario Brothers,
Nintendo
Mike Tyson's
64.
Punch Out,
Yeah.
Contra, Street Fighter, Duck Hunt, Excite Bike, Double
Law,
Dribble.
Tetris.
Oh, absolutely. Tetris, Tecmo Ball, like I'm classic.
Sonic the Hedgehog. That's fancy though. That's like some Sega
Yeah.
Genesis.
But however, you can't deny that today's graphics, I mean, they're just
They're sick.
insane.
You can't.
And it was funny because as a kid, I always would say, man, it'd be dope if the characters or the graphics could actually look like real life.
I know.
And you know,
Now it is.
now it is.
Now it is actual
And now
life.
like gamers talk to other gamers across the road in real time, and they compete and they build teams and it's crazy.
And it's like not a game.
Yeah, it's not a game. But that's why when you look at the experience the gaming world provides, it's undeniable.
And the jobs again.
Yeah.
If that's the world that if you could get in, because it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, I
Do
agree.
you know what I mean? It's only going to get, this PlayStation probably is going to come up with its own sort of like Amazon TV or PlayStation
Well, yeah,
TV. Or
and
they
you're
actually
going to
might
start
all
seeing
that.
holograms and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So it's going to be crazy.
Totally crazy. Before we move back into Jeramy or Grind Ops or anything, we also, to mention, a few weeks ago had our guest Steve Gordon, the entertainment lawyer, which kind of goes hand in hand with some of the things that Jeramy has been saying.
Right.
He has his book, The 11 Contracts, and we are still running a promotion for it. So if we have a special deal, and if you use the code Recording Connection, you can get 40% off. And the
40% off,
right?
folks. That's not a bad deal.
Hello.
There it is right there. Bam.
Boom.
An amazing student deal. A full 40% off the list price.
And that's some real good info.
That is.
The man knows it all.
And he does. And the great, I enjoyed, talking to Steve because he was able to give us real-time examples and experiences
Sure.
of how some of these things worked out. And having just the proper information and
Yes.
education on what to look for, how these things work in the event these things happen. Really, really informative. And I would actually suggest to our viewers that, you definitely want to have this information with you because you're going to find yourself in a lot of these little pockets and you're going to be like, well, what do I do? How should I do this? Who do I talk to? And just based off of the conversation we had with Steve on the show, I mean, he was able to kind of knock all of those
Through
questions
it,
out. Yeah, and go through it thoroughly. So, yeah.
And so make sure you check that out. But to pop back over to Jeramy for a second, because this is an interesting to talking about the marketing side of it, like both digitally, both overseas, and just get his take on that. Jeramy, we're going to come back to you. How you feel about that?
Awesome. Amazing.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about the marketing side when we talk about digital distribution and overseas marketing, and your experience with that?
Yeah, so first thing I want to say is that Steve Gordon, I watched that episode of Connected, and that guy's amazing. He offered so much great advice, and I encourage everybody to pick up his book. But if you don't have a pile of money and you have some music you want to put out there, etc., I can give you the breakdown. You want to use a digital distributor that has a solid staff. We like to use Symphonic Distribution initially. They have a really good distribution network globally, except for Asia, of course. They're a little lacking there. And with that and then BMI, effectively you've become a legitimate publisher. And then you can go over and talk to Merlin. And Merlin they're not an aggregator or a digital distributor. They basically are the ones that have collected enough independent labels to hold a percentage of market share. So they are competing with the major labels, and they can negotiate direct deals with stores for you, so you have access to their back-end content management. And that's really where you want to start, because there's a lot of misconceptions about monetizing your music, and you really want to do that part right. There are a couple of digital distributors that you can use to release your music, but the staff isn't there if something happens, if you need to do an official takedown, and the royalty reports just aren't as good. So I really don't want to touch too much on that, but Consolidated Independent is another good one. They're over there in the UK. And you can do all kinds of other things to promote yourself too. Like one that's overlooked is Promo DJ, which is basically Rush's version of SoundCloud. That's a really good platform, a lot of users on there. So that's kind of just a simple breakdown of what the average producer can do from home to legally publish and monetize their music. And then, of course, don't be afraid to monetize your YouTube. Go in and sign up for a free AdSense account. Put some videos out there, monetize the channel. Those are a couple of things you can do for relatively low or no cost to monetize your stuff and actually make money and see a return for all your hard work.
Nice. Dope.
You know what? I think that's a perfect segue actually into our School of Hard Knocks video, because this week it's all about the importance of being an entrepreneur in today's world, right? And the fact that it is a very specific mindset. Now, before I say too much, I feel like, can we roll that video, y'all? I think so. I say let's hit our clip.
I think where the road is going at, as far as, let's say, how things trend on social media, is a huge testament to the fact that the way of functioning traditionally as a company is pretty much over. And I see that firsthand with even being at the NAMM convention. Here you have companies that have been attending NAMM for the last 30 years. And their approach has had to change because people aren't buying instruments like they used to. It's not as cool as it used to be. So, being able to engage the of how something trends or how a product becomes popular or in demand, a lot of it is happening within this new culture of social media, and how somebody can maybe take something, take a picture of it, put a little message behind it, make a meme, and then it becomes something substantial. Next thing you know, you got 3 million people that have liked it, have followed it, all those different things. If you're not up to speed, if you're not in the culture, then you're out of the loop. And nowadays, to be in business and be out of the loop, you're now having to close your doors the very next day. So it's really extremely important to understand how all these components make sense, and then how you can, as a business, still allow your products to live. So it's huge.
Words. Well, those are great words.
Thank you, Cloie.
Thank you.
I try to keep it 100 in my School of Hard Knocks sessions.
Of course, and you do it. But it's also perfect with what we're talking about with Jeramy, which is also what we're talking about, or, it's like a trend. That's the word of the day, is trend. Use it in a sentence today. But how to take what you do and A, make sure that it's yours, and B, market it so that you can make money off of what it is that you do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think over the years, everything now is so unconventional and non-traditional, and new models are being created every day because the old ones are failing and dying. So the thing then ultimately affects what it is you're trying to do. So being able to understand everything in its totality is really the focal point of what the story is for everybody now. And you have to really understand it, because every day something changes. Every day there's a new this. Every day, there's this app, and there's this new platform. So trying to keep up with that alone is rough and intense. So, it now poses you as a creator out of your comfortable space, because now you got to be on it outside of your creativity.
Especially
so.
if you don't have a team, if you're just starting out, if
yeah.
you're, all of that
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
So there's a lot of tentacles, and trying to understand all of them and how they coincide with what it is you're doing. I mean, it's a lot to take in.
100%. And I think that what you say and what Jeramy is saying, and it's about adopting a more global perspective as opposed to a more streamlined tunnel vision, which is what, like,
Right.
before it was you stay in your lane, this is what you do, and now it's more about, yes, this is what you do, and how to create a wider base for that
Right.
to support.
Absolutely. With that being said, we have 5 additional grind
We have
outs.
one more ground out too. We haven't done grind out 5 yet.
We haven't done grind
We
out 5.
haven't
I
done
thought
grind
we
out
did grind out 5.
I don't. Look, you gotta look. Boom.
Oh, jeez. Shame on me. Here we go. A junior audio technician in Los Angeles, California, Blue Microphones is looking for a talented junior audio technician for a full-time position. Assist production in building the pro line of microphones. Assist in the repair of customer microphones. Provide additional operational and administrative support as necessary. And assist other departments as needed. This sounds like a microphone mechanic.
Microphone check. Microphone
Phone
checker.
What? Daz effects? All right.
Came up from
We got
down.
a true hip hop head in the house. So that one sounded like, you definitely want to be eating, breathing, booing mics, because that sounded pretty mic driven. real mic driven. So if we have any microphone mechanics out there who is watching with us today, sitting in on today's show, make sure you fill out an app for that grind up.
Get in there.
Yes. And where can they apply, Chloe?
To apply for our jobs, you can check out our website, which is rrfedu.com/connected/latest. Woo! Woo!
Girl, you got it.
Oh man.
There you go.
Oh
Boom.
man. Woof.
As you said it, it was being typed into the link.
Which I
Bam.
appreciate, and I was able to make sure, because
Right.
sometimes you just need to just check.
Absolutely.
Other times you just need to try.
So that was our fifth grind up. For some reason, I thought that we had already introduced our fifth grind up for the day, but we just did that. So we have 5 additional grind ups.
Which are available only on our website.
Mm-hmm.
Today we've got number 6 in film for event coordinator in Chicago, Illinois. We've got radio, a production assistant, another PA, in Boston, Massachusetts. We've got another film or another radio job, on-air talent in DC. Shout out DC.
What up, D?
And then also in radio for a board operator. Board operator. Sorry, I had to do it. Los Angeles, California. And of course in culinary, we've got the role of a cook in Fort Benning, Georgia. On my mind.
Okay.
Food is on my mind.
So now I just got my phone because we're going to dive into this Q&A.
Q&A.
And of course, we're high tech, so we get to do that on our phone. So don't take it as we're being rude
We're
or
not.
we're texting or any of that.
We love you. We're
Our
here.
questions actually come in. So let's see what we got. We got Elliot from Madison, Wisconsin. Can you explain the steps involved from completing my track to getting it out to the road? You want to answer that, Jeremy?
You there?
Yes, I am here. Sure. Out to the road as far as distribution onto retail music outlets. Is that what we're talking about here, I assume? Really, there's... Perfect. So there's several ways to skin that cat, and it's all about where you want to go. If you're a producer and you kind of want to do things on your own, you can find a digital distributor. Your first step obviously is BMI. You want to sign up for a publisher account, create a little music group, and then find a digital distributor. There are lots of small ones out there. I recommend going with one of the larger digital distributors, like Symphonic, because they're going to take a percentage of your royalties, but like I said before, they have the staff to handle any problems you're going to have, and they really have a good distribution network, especially when it comes to media companies. Media companies track all of the royalties, all of the tiny fractions of pennies that you can make when your music ends somewhere on the internet, ends up somewhere on the internet like YouTube, or somebody uses it for a commercial on Vivo or a home video, things like that. And then you want to go over and you want to talk to Merlin, and doing business with them is free, and they just have a wealth of information, and they can actually help you go to the next level. Another trick is to try to maybe find a decent publisher, a decent label that you like, that will publish you. Send them a message. You want to have your presentation ready, obviously, which is something that a lot of people miss. You're going to want to have your artist logo. You're going to want to have your label logo if that's the route you're going to take. You're going to want to have a little mini press kit. You're going to want to make everybody's job easy to do business with you. And I think that's really key, and people overlook that a lot. But I'll break it down for you one more time. BMI, digital distributor over at Symphonic, and then Merlin. And if you get that far, you'll have learned enough just by doing things and publishing your own music that you'll know how to go to the next level.
Okay. Next question.
Bam.
Frida from Tucson, Arizona. What misconceptions do lots of people have about the way the EDM industry works?
Oh, where do I start? There are so many misconceptions. A big misconception is with EDM especially is people are stuck in the old mode of thinking to where they're going to get discovered and a label is going to spend tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars billing them as an artist, recording them, promoting them, and that's just not going to happen. You pretty much have to be a standalone these days, to get your stuff out there. So that's, another misconception is the legal aspects. Not many people realize what it actually takes to be legally published, so that when you have an opportunity, you can take advantage of that legally. So those are a couple of misconceptions, because here's the thing, the numbers for tracks that are released every week are phenomenal. It's tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands depending on which season it is, and you have to cut through all of that to be noticed. So I would keep those things in mind.
Gotcha.
Thank you. We've got Martin from Gary, Indiana. I want to toss this one to you. Well, for both of you, I think. But in regards to self-promotion, I love his description. He says, I suck at it. What can I do? What can I do?
Self-promotion.
Yeah, okay,
well,
I'll start.
I think what you want to do before you do anything or you put anything out on it, you want to make sure, kind of what Jeremy just mentioned, you kind of want to make sure you got all those components of who you are intact, whether it's your logo, your label logo, a press kit. You want to make sure the any visual aspects that you have of you are really reflects who you are as an artist. And then, it's I'm not going to say it's funny to me, but it's interesting to me with all the platforms that we all know exist out there, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Audio Mac, SoundCloud. It's not rocket science. It really just takes you doing your due diligence and doing your homework and posting your music, creating a YouTube channel, keeping people up to speed on your daily movement, Facebook, Instagram, talking to your audience on Snapchat, letting them see, you in the studio, you creating, you talking about your new song that you just posted on SoundCloud. That's really where it starts. And that's like grassroots. That's like outside of any other, institution or corporation or anything. That's just what you can do. So I don't know, what's your take on that, Jeremy?
Yeah, so I say this a lot, and the key here is to realize that if you're going to shamelessly self-promote, as it were, you have to realize that everybody that you're going to be dealing with has a boss. Everybody pretty much answers to somebody else. So what you want to do is you want to make it easy for people to deal with you. So if you want to promote locally, and you want to get an article written, well, if you send an editor or a reporter, if you send them a press kit that's self-contained and has everything that they need and they don't have to do very much to put some media out there about you, that just makes their job easier. If you are a podcast director for one of the music stores and you're always looking for like mixes, for example, if you send them a fully self-contained package with your mix that's edited and mastered correctly, it's got your press kit, it's got all the photos, it's got your one sheet, your press flyer, all of that stuff, all of a sudden that podcast director like breathes a sigh of relief because they don't have to do a follow-up and ask questions. It just makes their whole job easier. So I would really try to keep that in mind. Have your presentation ready.
Right, I totally agree. We have Frankie from Pomona, California. Frankie, what up? P-Town. What do you think about musicians starting their own labels?
Oh yeah, that's an easy one. I think everybody should own their own label. I mean, just you can do it from your house. You can set aside a little room and a little command center like I have, and you can be really effective. Webcam up so you can have the Skype meetings. Go to BMI, make a music group, find a really good digital distributor, and start soliciting for new artists. I mean, if you make a music group through BMI and get a label going through symphonic distribution, all of a sudden you can offer new artists legal publishing. Have your artists go and make a creator profile at BMI and show them the ropes. So I think that's a fantastic idea, and everybody should own a label as far as I'm concerned.
Now, it's interesting to hear you say that because I also believe that there's a lot of accountability when it comes to owning a label, and I say that because when you start to engage artists or creators, you really have to really not just know business, but know how all the other ancillary pieces work, like royalty payouts, your royalty quarters, how that all breaks down, how the pie is divided up, how you how you justify the funds that you've put up and how that counts back to what comes in as far as what they then make once things are paid back. And it's a lot of information and education that comes with taking on a task, and I do think it's a great idea for folks to own a company or own a label, but I also think there's a lot of,
because you're dealing with
people, you're dealing with people's lives, you're dealing with people's creativity, and in that road of just starting out, you're dealing with a lot of folks that don't have a lot of money. They're just looking for an opportunity, an outlet, and somebody to assist them in helping them get their art out.
Right.
So this at the same time, I say that because I also want to be, not that it's that easy,
Right.
but it's a lot that goes into that.
Wait, we got a question just to follow up on that. Tanya from Denver, Colorado. She wants to know what a sync deal is. Jeremy, can we toss that one to you?
Oh yeah, sync placement or a sync deal is what the industry calls a TV film placement. And we had a few last year. It's working out extremely well for us. The problem with getting a sync deal is finding the publishers that are getting it done. If you want to make any kind of real money with electronic dance music in today's age, there's a couple of ways you can do that. Sync placements is one of them. Selling loop packs or stem packs, as it were, is another. But if you type in sync deals or TV film placement into Google, you're going to get page after page after page of publishers that say, oh, we can get you on MTV or we can get you on USA Network. But a lot of them aren't getting it done. I know all of the digital distributors offer that. So what I do is I refer everybody, this is like a golden tip that I kind of give everybody. Um, I go and I will watch a movie, or I'll go to the website of a syndicated television show, and I'll find out what songs they're using, what artists they're using, and then I'll look them up in ASCAP or BMI, and it tells you right there what publisher submitted and got that sync placement. And then you just go over and find that publisher's website, and all of a sudden you can submit to them, to potentially get a sync placement. The difference is you know that that publisher is actually getting it done, whereas a lot of them just aren't.
Gosh, and that's a very strong point too. We have Des from Los Angeles. How much has the industry changed since you've been a part of it, Jeramy?
Oh, in the last 20 years, geez, I remember, I remember when I first started. It was very stigmatized because of the illegal raves and the drugs and what have you, and all of those sorts of things. So if you got pulled over, in Illinois, for example, with records and flyers and turntables in your car, there's a pretty good chance you were going to get picked up and go to jail. And now it's relatively accepted. You hear it everywhere. And the formats have evened out a little bit. So, the break structure, to say back in the mid 90s, people hadn't really figured it out so much. And now you can go to Beatport or Juno Download, and you can pretty much count on every record you buy having a break structure that can be easily mixed into another track, for example. Those are just a couple of small examples.
Okay. We have Mark from Austin, Texas. Someone told me I could put my single on other labels by getting it on compilations. True? And if so, please explain.
Oh, Mark from Austin, Texas. You might have heard that through me or one of my apprentices. Big shouts to the Faded Patio crew. I know you're out there. Yeah, compilations are a really good way to get your music out there and to make money. That's another thing that's really making good money is, so I'll publish a track, a single, and then I'll sell it to as many people as I possibly can. Especially like Ministry of Sound is a really good one. They put together compilations of 30 tracks. They're genre specific, and what that means is a DJ who has to find 6 hours of music a night really has to struggle to find that music. So it's much easier, much cheaper just to buy a compilation from a label that he trusts. So I would say go for it. Compilations are definitely a valuable tool and should not be overlooked. They're licensors, is technically what the industry likes to call them.
Got you. We have one last question for you, Jeramy. This is Becca from Miami Beach, Florida. How do you gauge whether a song of yours is commercially successful or not?
Ooh, that's a tough one because a lot of my stuff is minimalist. Really, I'm only commercially successful in Germany, Russia, London, those sorts of things. But you can tell a track is doing well by your royalty report, obviously. And then you can also go and see how well your tracks are charting on subgenres. And that takes a lot of hard work because there's no centralized place to find out if you're charting. So you have to go to each store, find out what subgenre they classified your track, and then actually scroll through the top 100s. But generally speaking, if you get a top 100 placement on subgenres on several different stores, that in and of itself is a success. And then you can go to like Billboard is a good one, Harry Fox is another good one, and actually find out where your music is at. A good gauge is YouTube. Are other people using your song in their videos. So those are all easy ways to kind of gauge, because everything is so broad and so global and so spread out on the internet now. We're having a hard time gauging those types of successes.
Cool, man. Well, Jeremy, man, we want to thank you for sitting through the show with us, man, and making yourself available, man. And we're definitely happy to have you, man. And maybe we can have you on a couple shows down the road, man, and dive into a little more of your creativity and everything, man. But thank you so much.
It's like a wealth of knowledge.
Thanks,
A wealth of
guys.
knowledge, absolutely.
You know?
And Jeremy, can you also let our viewers know where they can find you as well?
Yeah, so you can always give me a call at country code 1-808-754-7989, or you can just send me an email at jeramyroberts@gmail.com. Those are the two easiest ways to find me. If you're an RRFC student or have been in the past and you have any questions, I'm at your disposal. Just give me a call or a text.
Yeah. My man, again, thank you, man. Thank you for hanging out with us. Shout out to our connected team as well.
Getting us connected
That is
every week.
Leah, Jeremy. He's part of our team.
He's a part of the team.
He's part of the team.
He's part of
Howie,
Brian.
Mike,
Michael.
Brian, also our Rolling family, Igor, Mark, and Chris Howland, man. Thank you guys. And also, Chloe, we want to let them know where they can find us as well.
Guys, you can find us. Have you followed us yet? We gave you 10
Yeah.
seconds. All across social media at IZConnected. That is IZConnected. You can email us directly. That's where you can send us your demos, your sizzle reels, anything you want us to look at. You can get it to us at connected@rrfedu.com. To sign up, you can join us rrfedu.com/connected. Of course, our Facebook Messenger app, which is at /connected/app. Next slide, please. To apply for our jobs, and again, these are not available everywhere. This is only available to our connected faithful
Exclusive.
students. Exclusive! But that's rrfedu.com/connected/latest. And of course, for our resources like our job vault, you can go to connected/vault or rrfedu.com/connected/vault for our newsletter, which we're coming to you a little bit later today with Brooke Tedessa. That is rrfedu.com/weekly-report.
And do not forget our iTunes podcast and our Google Play for those of you who are on the go.
Please get on that grind and get on that go. Is where can we find you?
You can find me at is_Avila across the board. That's Twitter.
And you can find me at Always Cloie. No H, and there's
We
a
sure
I.
can find you, honey. Again, thank you all for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next week. Next week we'll be at Roland, and we will have another special guest for you. All right, guys. Until then, it's Monday. You got Tuesday all the way to Sunday to get your grind going. All right. Remember, it's Monday Movement. Get it going. We love y'all. Thank you again for tuning in. Peace.